Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. For my YouTube viewers, this entire week video will be out for you, so please share it so more people can see it. I think if you're watching it, you're kind of enjoying it and you're getting the benefits. So let's start. We're in the dollar index. As usual, it's still up. Nothing changed. We're getting a bigger correction here. If this is going to be the top at any one point in time, if this is going to be the top, you have to wait for a flag before you go for any sell. And then you would have to look back at a bigger structure to see whether that flag is just for a smaller correction or it's actually a bigger drop coming. Right now, I don't see a bigger drop coming. I think this is still a running flat and we'll probably go back up. If that changes during the day, we will let you know. Maybe tomorrow morning, you'll see if that changes. Right now, we're looking for upside. Silver, I hope most of you got the trade yesterday in my webinar yesterday. If you watch it, we called the sell. The sell was here. There's a reason I have it here. I'll go into that later. But it's a sell. And most of my traders should have got that. I hope most of you out there who are watching the videos got this trade. It's wonderful. There's another sell setup forming here. When you start to see this, you think running flat. Entry orders under the low. If it keeps tagging you like that, take it off, because eventually it's going to make a deeper correction and then you get the drop. So small flags at the bottom are a little dangerous in that they might be the end of this single drop for a deeper correction and then that drop. It doesn't mean it's not going to drop. Right? It means you will have to be careful. Here's a good example. If you took this one and you end up taking this one and you start to see this, right? You start to see that running flat forming there. You should take the trade. Maybe you will close the first one and then you go to the second one and then you get the drop. So by New York session, if they start to do this by New York, we get that drop. And that'd be a wonderful thing. Can they drop to the bottom? Absolutely. Remember, I showed you these structures before and what they're likely going to do. So I think likely this is going to come back and tag the low. Now it's not going to go in a single drop. See, this move didn't come back in a single drop. It came back with a lot of pullback in it. There's a deep pullback here. You can see all the pullback. So I think at some point we will get deeper pullbacks. But this looks pretty much like a flat. So that is why we were so keen on this one dropping. Well, let's see what happens. Gold also dropped. Gold, I didn't call this selling gold because we were thinking that this could also be a bigger running flat here. But like I said, if it consolidates, that change. I just showed you that on the dollar index. If it consolidates, that change, you go for the sell. It's not too late to get into the gold sell. Go back and watch my videos when this drop happened. I told you they're probably going to make a small one, come here, make a bigger one, which is what they did. Make a small one, go make a bigger one, and then you might get this trade today if you're lucky. So any flag you get, go for the sell. What is the trade I'm expecting to happen? I'm expecting this to happen. And then we were expecting to go back up. Now, that's the forecast. Question is it going to happen like that, or is it going to happen slightly different? That depends on what the information we have in the structure right now. Would that change, or is it going to behave the way we expect it to behave? If it behaves the way you expect it to behave, you get the trade. If it changes, you relook at the structure, see if there's a different structure, and then you make assessment, right? Remember, these are forecasting, and that's how you make money. If you can't forecast, you can't make money. It's simple. Hindsight, everybody's brilliant. It's forecasting where the problem comes, right? So we do forecast, that's how we make money. So it's very simple. We expect it to drop, and most likely it will, regardless of what's happening in the world. Because when I told you the deeper correction is likely going to come, there was still a war going on, and it's still going on. I remember when this started to go up a little and we were expecting it to come down, traders were saying somebody should remind him that there's a war going on and gold is a safe haven. I told him it's going to drop and I'm going to see what's happening, what you'll tell me about your safe haven. Well, he disappeared. They disappear, I'm still here. Because we work with what's in the chart, not what is out there in the news. The news is mostly for entertainment. The chart is real. This does not lie to you. It cannot lie to you because this is what is happening now. See, the news can lie to you. The charts can't lie to you. So what you should be using if you want to make money, use the charts, not the news. The news is useless. So go back to it, look for a flag, sell it. Simple. What if it goes up? No big deal. I've explained that many times. It does not matter if this goes up one more time. We'll figure it out. We'll look at a pattern again. We'll decide what pattern we think could form now. And then we'll say, well, if this is the pattern that is forming now, how can we take advantage of that? It's very, very simple. Don't complicate it. Let's go. We're only looking for sells. If you remember when it was going up, I said we see buy setups, do not focus on the buy, focus on the sell, because the big picture is downside. See, that has not changed, and that will not change until we get to the bottom. That will not change until we get to about this level. Even if you break that top, that doesn't change. Now, when you get a drop like this and it starts to go up, if you focus on the buy, you're likely going to miss the sells, right? Especially in a chart like this where you see that. We expect that to happen because I showed you, we went back here and I showed you the same thing here, right? They do make deep pullback. Look at that one, see? And then they made a big flat and then they drop. So don't be surprised if this starts to make some kind of flat before it drops. This is one single sharp move. I don't think it's an expanding flat. It's possible. I don't think so, but that's possible. You can't rule out that possibility, which means every flag you get, you should be selling. Every time it comes to the top and it gives you a flag, you should sell. Maybe you got 1 or 2 break even already. And that is okay. This was a sell that probably would have given you break even. That's okay. This is a sell that's giving you profit. Every flag you get here now, sell. Every flag, every correction, we're selling. Euro. Magic works, right? Watch my video yesterday if you don't know what the magic is. Comes back here, and then we're looking for a sell. So yesterday I said you should have an entry here. Today we're putting the entry here. Now, this is not a trade call for YouTube followers because you do not know the rules of engagement. You do not know what our strategy is. You also do not know the rules of management of your trade that we have. So this is entry for my group. I'm telling them because once I put it there, they'll know exactly what they have to do, right? This might change within the day. So within the day, instead of selling here, we might be selling somewhere at the top here. But that is if we get a setup for a sell at the top there. If there's no setup, this might also come off before the end of the day. If there's a structural change, that comes right off. So don't take this as a trade call. I do not make trade calls. I give you my views on directions in the analysis that I do. That's all. If you want to learn to trade and if you want to get into the trades we get into and how we get them and how we manage them, you'll have to join the group for that. Send me a Skype message. It's in the details. So we're expecting it to come to about this top, maybe break that top. Not maybe, it should break that top. It should break this top. And then we're expecting one more drop, at least one more like this. If we get that trade from the top here, that'd be amazing, right? So we'll try to do that today in the trading room. Fang, yeah, we didn't sell it yesterday. We saw this. We were in the trading room. My traders asked if we should sell that running flat, and the answer was no, because it has to go back up. Now the question is, can we buy it? Absolutely. If we get a flag here today, I think we bought this. All of you remember, if we get a flag here today, we'll go for this buy to break that top. So we'll have a regular flat, and then we'll get that drop. See? What if I'm wrong and this takes off like a rocket because we didn't break the low? Well, good for me. I should be in the buy. I don't care. I'll be happy if I'm wrong. But it's unlikely that I'll be wrong because these patterns are very, very popular. They're the most common patterns. So they tend to, 99% of them almost behave that way in a regular flat. Right? Very few you get that goes back, and becomes the up move. There is a chance for a bigger up move. On a 4-hour and a daily, there is that chance for a bigger up move, right? But I don't think this is where it starts. But let's see. Aussie. Okay, we put it under the low because we assume it's going to make more consolidation, and it is making more consolidation, which means we might get a bigger flat. Are we getting a reversal for this possible running flat here? Well, we will know that very soon because you can't buy into this when you get such a deep pullback like this. That is very, very wrong if you do that, right? So I'll have to look at the internals of this to decide whether this down move here qualifies for a contracting flat there. And that means we'll move the entry up higher. For now, if we get a sell setup from here, we'll take it. If it keeps going up, we will have to make a flag at some point if you're going to continue to go, and that will become the buy setup. You will get that by tomorrow. So if you keep watching my videos, tomorrow, if there's a buy setup, you'll get it. Right? So if we get a flag somewhere at the top here, we'll start buying. So let's see if they make a flag here today. It will take 6 to 8 hours. So tomorrow, you'll probably get that trade. Right now, I think we're still focusing on the downside, and the same we're doing for New Zealand, focusing on the downside right now. It's still consolidating. This one is pretty flat. I don't see where this takes off, right? Because this is pretty flat. It came back deep. It's going there. I think they'll probably come back here, go back up there. That'd be a perfect flat for a sell. If we get it like that. If we get it a little different, then we'll see. Right now, this one I would tend to exclude that because this would have to be an expanding flat, and I really don't think this is making an expanding flat, especially with the bigger structure in play, right? This is very corrective, and this is coming down pretty much like this. So I think we'll get to the bottom. That sell is a good one. Don't sell the Aussie, sell the New Zealand. It's that simple, right? If you're looking at those two and you're thinking, man, I don't trust the Aussie, it could be a running flat, put the sell in the New Zealand. It's the same trade, right? CAD, we're still waiting for that buy. It came down back, so let's see what happens now. It's just proving that they're making a bigger flat in the middle here. This whole thing is becoming a bigger flat here, right? And then eventually, this is a sharp one. Eventually, they're going to come here. Maybe even they can stay here for a longer time. They'll eventually go up, come down back, and then go. We're still waiting for the breakout of this trade here. I don't know if anybody got tagged. I doubt anybody got tagged in that. Yesterday, we were trying to buy it. But if any, this line is incorrect, it has to be like this. But if any traders get tagged in that, no need to worry. You get out of that for positive. Your stop should not be here. I explained why your stop should be here yesterday. But even if you keep the stop here, you're going to get out of that trade for positive. But if my traders took it, then they're probably out of that trade already, which means you should have closed it right somewhere here, right? It came down, it started to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's still there. You close that trade, you take a few pips loss, and then you go. You put the entry back above the top again. That doesn't change. Right, so there's an entry above the top. Swiss. Okay, we're very focused on getting the sell in this one. We didn't get it yesterday. We'll probably get it today. So this is only for my traders. Put an entry under the low. We just discussed this in the trading room, right? Put an entry there. If it tags you, we'll deal with the trade. First, we will try to exclude this one. I don't think they're making this running flat, but we will try to exclude that running flat first and see if they go back up. If not, we're in the trade going, right? So we keep an eye out for that possibility. Drop, turn, go. If not, it's downside. You can keep your stop here. Let me see. Yeah, you can keep your stop above that top. Don't do any bigger stop. Keep it right there. We'll deal with that. Yen, okay, we might get a sell setup today. We didn't get any sell setup yesterday because actually yesterday was a buy. If you bought, I hope you got it for positive because I warned you that these short moves here will start to drop. This is the first sharp move. So if they stay with a flag here and you want a 1 hour flag, maybe let's see if we get a 15-minute one, we'll probably take it. We want a flag here and then we go for that trade. Now, if it just comes here and come here and decide to go back up, that's okay. We'll deal with it. Right. So let's see what happens at this point. It could also still make this pattern and go back up. This is a weekly running flat now, and a weekly running flat still has the possibility to go 200-300 pips more before it comes down, right? Because it's no longer 1 hour or 4 hour or daily. It's a weekly running flat in the making. Euro New Zealand. Okay, we're kind of going sideways here still. We haven't got this sharp wave downwards yet, so we still need to get it. I hope this drops here today. If they're making a flat here, this has to drop and then go back up. Right, that would probably complete this one. So let's wait and see. We don't have it as yet. We'll probably get a buy if that happens. If it drops, we look for a buy setup. Euro Oz. Okay, this is coming down back. Take that out. I think we would look at a more bigger flat here forming. Take this out. So let it come back here. We'll probably go with this first one. That's this one. The first flat would be this. There's a chance we go back up, come back down, and then go. We'll see. It's a huge range, by the way. The range is big. So if we get buys from the bottom or sell, well, you don't have any sell anymore. But if you have a buy from the bottom or a sell from the top, once it breaks the top, we'll take it. So the range is tradable, and then you can get the out of it. Could it be they're trying to drop with that? No, not likely. This is the one that should have dropped if we were dropping, right? So this could likely be the B part of this entire structure. It might be a huge running flat. So let's just wait and see. Swiss. Okay, this is going higher. I thought it would stop somewhere here, but they're going higher. So let's see. Okay. This piece turned out to be a nice running flat here, but I don't think we got it. This one. I don't know if any of my traders got it or whether you would even buy it because it's way where we expect the top to be, right? It wouldn't make sense buying it. So if we're right about this pattern, then at some point, this has to come down back for this move, right? You have to come down back for this one. So if we get any sell set up here today, we're going for that trade. If it keeps going, you will need a flat before you buy now. So, and I'll probably be only looking to buy above that top. not within this range, because it's still valid as a running flat from there, right? So above the top, any correction would be buy. But if it stays here and it drops and gives you a flag, we'll go for this trade and then we'll go back up. That'll be perfect running flat, the one we're looking for. Euro yen. Yep, if you want to buy anything, buy the yen, the euro yen, there's still potential more to the upside. It actually came to the arrow, right? Arrow works like magic. I thought it ended here, right? When we put that arrow, that's the equivalent of this one, of the previous up move. Where did we get that arrow from? Okay, now that's freaking me out. I don't know where we got that arrow from, but I remember putting it. I think it was supposed to be the equivalent of this or something else. I have no idea. Anyway, we have that arrow there and it's working very good, right? Break the top and it goes there. So right now, any sell setup would be okay. We'll take any sell setup we get. Take these off. Take these off. Any sell setup we get, we'll take, because we broke the top twice. This is the first time. This is the second time. Like the dollar yen, any sell setup, we're going for it, right? Let's see. No sell setup is yet. If it makes a flag here, you can actually buy it. If any yen pair, you should buy. This is a good one. I think 2 yen pairs we identified for buys. That is the Swiss yen and this one. These two are pretty good. If they keep going up, you can still buy them. So we'll wait and see if we get any setup for a buy, but any sell setup we'll take. Yeah, finally you're getting the flat. Yesterday we didn't have one. Today we have one. So you can make an argument for a good sell setup here somewhere. Figure it out. It's a flat. Pound Swiss. Okay, this didn't stop here. That was a very sharp drop, but it didn't stop. It went back. So we're still in this one. And where did that sharp move fit? It's me. We don't have anything to go with that. Unless we go with this entire thing here as some kind of a expanding flat. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't look like it, but that's what we have. So we'll have to go with that. And that would have to be an expanding flat there. So you'd have to most likely look at it this way, because this one is not making a running flat. That's a sharp impulse up. So that's definitely not making a running flat. So we'll have to put this as an expanding flat. We'll relook at it when we go back. Could be. So put this here. And we're expecting this to come down. So if we get any sell setup that, we could keep an eye on that. I think the question we were asking is whether this was the low and whether this could literally be the start of the upside. And not until we exclude this. Let's exclude that flat first before we decide that this is actually starting the up move. Because in this structure, we're expecting the up move. But you really want to make sure you're not trying to buy at the top of a structure like this that is going to come back here. And that would be a little thing. So let's wait and see if we make any flag above these stops. Go make any correction above those stops, then we'll start buying that for the breakout. All right, so right now you want to see if we get any sell setup here. We're coming back to retest the low. Go back to the 1 hour and wait for that. It's a Swiss, and the Swiss is downside, so I think we can keep our eyes on this for any flag. Euro CAD. We're probably making a running flat here, another running flat there. It's coming down, but probably slow. And then we might or might not get that move up. Because it's still open whether we think this is a correction of itself or part of a bigger running flat. See, you have a correction here, you have a big flat here. I think it's going to be part of a running flat. So let's wait. Nothing more there to do. Pound New Zealand. We're actually coming down. That's strange. Take this off. And let's relook at this one. We could either still be in the correction, right, in the possible running flat, because this is not a sharp impulse coming down, right? You can literally see that this here coming down is not an impulse. And this is coming down, but it's not an impulse. Probably will go back up, maybe even come back like this, make a bigger flat here, and then go back up like this. So somewhere in the future, we'll have a running flat. It's not there. So it's not a sell setup. I don't see a sell. We wouldn't be selling this piece at the bottom here. Let it drop lower. If it's going to become a sell setup, it needs to drop lower under these levels, and then you make a flag, and then we'll go for any sell. Right now, it's still possible that you're making a correction in the top there. CAD. It does look upside. Take this off. I have to just wait and see with this because we have that sharp move and we have this sharp move. And this actually could be a running flat here. So if this comes here, then we look for that buy. Then it would make sense to go for this buy. As of now, we just leave it. I don't think we should try to buy it here. Just leave it there. Pang Yen. Okay, let's see if we have a buy setup on the Pang Yen. Possible. If you look at this as a running flat, if you look at this piece here as a possible running flat, either with this one or with this one, whichever. You can do it with this, or you can go with that. Then you probably put an entry above the top, which is not a great idea because you're so high, and it's, you know, that running flat looks not very clear. So what if this becomes a flat? If this piece becomes a flat, so if they make something like this and then do this and then come back here, then this buy becomes very good. A bigger one like this, for example, right? Something like that. Then the buy becomes perfect because you know that there's a big impulse coming out of it. But with a small running flat like that, the impulse might not be pretty huge. You do have a lot of divergence already. You're pretty high in this, and this is really, really sharp. So I don't think that's all the correction. Right? That is really sharp. So I think that is an impulse. So eventually you're going to get an impulse here. If it becomes a sell setup, we'll definitely take it, but it's not a sell setup as yet, right? So for this to become a sell setup, you'd have to come back all the way to the bottom here, stay here for a while, and then look for the drop. That will take a good time. Let's go. Pangos. Yep, that drop. Not a trade you probably could have got, and it needs to at least make one more up. Let's see what the big picture looks like. Could still go up, right? This is pretty sharp, so there was a flag there, but there was a small flag here, but that would not give you a trade because we have a running flat here. So this down move is logical, but you still have this one. So you'd probably have to get one more up. And then you still have this, which means one more down. Let's leave it for now. If it makes a flag here, then we'll consider whether we want to sell it, right? I think right now it's too early. Aussie Swiss. Okay, this went up way higher than we thought. I was looking for it to come and break this top, which is, this is 1, 2, 3, right? Sorry, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, come back here. You could probably use this as the downside for that one. You could make an argument that that flat completed itself there, and this is 1, 2, 3. So any sell setup in here would be a good one. The higher it goes, the better for the sell setup, right? Could it be that this is the flat and we are going up? Well, that would be strange because this has the most correction in it. You can't take this as the B wave and this is the impulse, right? That would not be, I think that would not make sense. So I think at some point we could make an argument. Either we're making a bigger running flat here, put it like this, a bigger flat in this whole structure with 3 sharp waves starting with 1, 2, 3. This could end up being the B part of it. Come back, go back, come back, and then go. That possibility exists. I would probably look at that first because I don't want to exclude these 3 waves as separate waves of themselves. Let's wait to see that. So once you come to the top, any sell setup you get will take within the range. Aussie CAD, buy setup. This should be a buy. I don't know if anybody got it. It's almost perfect. Well, you don't have a perfect flag in it, but let's wait for it. Wait for a 1 hour flag or so here. There probably isn't a 15-minute. You got a running flat somewhere. Yeah, you can make an argument for that. I'll probably go with this one or this one first. So if you get a sharp pull back here, put an entry above the top for this one. I will put this as a sharp one. If we're wrong about it, then this is it. Let's say this is it, right? Then let this makes a flag here. And if you make a flag here, you put an entry above it for that trade. So one out of those two, a sharp drop or a flag, and you put an entry above the top. If it keeps going, you can't put an entry, but there's a big move up, so no need to worry. Let's go to 4 hour. You would definitely want to make sure that, any flag you get there will take you above the top. This is a good one. Let's see where this would take us in the big picture. Well, we'll probably still be in the B wave. I don't think we're starting this impulse to the upside. It's possible. You could be doing that. But you also could be making a bigger flat here, right? It could probably come here and then make another one, and then go make another one, and then we'll see if this comes. So it all depends on how this goes. If it goes flat, then we'll assume it's a B wave, come back here and then go. But if it goes sharp, good for all of us. So you want to focus on the sharpness and you want to focus on the upside. They keep this one for the buy. This is an important one. Because if it's going to make this, the moves are going to get really sharp really quick. So let's see. Again, if you're a YouTuber and you're watching, see that line there? That was way before it happens. And there's a good reason why we think this has to come back down to make this one, because you're looking for running flat. My traders would identify that immediately. Aussie yen. I still think we have to come down here for a flat. See, I'm keeping this one in range because we don't have that correction anywhere. So at some point, this comes back at least to this level, makes a flat, go back up, come back down, and then go. Or this is all a correction, just go back up and drop. Either of those two is possible. So we'll keep an eye out. There's a sell setup that should form very soon. It's not there as yet. Aussie, New Zealand. Stay away from it. You could either look at this as a flat, but it's not going anywhere, or you're making a bigger flat. Come back here and then go. So if it drops this level, then this could be a tradable one. Otherwise, just leave it alone. New Zealand, Swiss. Okay, let's put this and see where this takes us, like that. Nowhere. If we're trying to go up, put it like this, right? If we're trying to go up, then this is not really making a lot of sense. If we're trying to come down, makes more sense like this. See this move here at the start before they drop? Watch for any sell setup and take it. The buy, we will start to buy above these stops. Let it break out of the structure here. Above here, we'll start to look for buys for this stop. But within this range here, any sell setup will go for it. I think the sell is more likely. Keep it on the 1 hour, see if you start to get a sell setup, that'd be a good trade. New Zealand CAD. We'll go for the sell. Wait for this to break and go for the sell. New Zealand yen. Well, this is what we have. And I think starting from this point, this seems to be the B wave. You can make an argument for this being a flat of its own. This being a 1, 2, 3 up. So we might be running ourselves into some kind of a running flat here for upside. Let's see. We don't have a sell setup as yet, right? So we can't sell. Can we buy it? You do have a buy setup. You have a small running flat forming here if you want to go for the buy setup. Question is, how high would that go? If you have a structure like this, some of them go really, like the pound yen, it's really high, right? But that is if you knew that in the future, how high the running flat would go. If you want to take the trade, you have to manage your way down to break even, which means at some point it's going to make a break even, and that's where you said, okay, good, I'm out of the trade. Right? CAD yen, also this, we still have this, which we don't know if that is the correction of its own, or that's a sharp move for downside. So any sell setup you get, you take it. There is a buy setup here also. All the yen pairs have this small possible running flat forming, unless you get a flag here. If you get a flag here, ignore that and go for the sell. And this could be a very small 5-minute thing, right? So we'll go for the sell if we get it. Swiss yen. This could be a buy if it goes up. If you sold this here, not a bad idea, actually. If you didn't, let's see what happens. If it makes another flag here, we'll definitely sell it, right? If it goes up back, you can buy above this top. It's only one impulse to the upside. CAD Swiss. We're breaking out of the top, but that doesn't mean if you get a flag above here, then you start buying. If we get a flag above there in the 1 hour, that gives you a trade. There was a running flat here. I think we can see that. But I don't think we'd want to buy it to the very top of it, of that structure, right? You wouldn't probably want to buy here. But if it makes a flag here now, that could be a buy because you're breaking out of the bigger structure, which means it could continue to go up. And this. Okay, so this gives you a spike up. That is understandable. The running flat is here. Problem is, I thought they'll probably just do 1, 2, 3 to about this level. I'll be above this stop. So the question is this some kind of a correction of its own? And we're totally going up. In that case, you just come to the 4-hour. If you're totally going up, wait for any correction in here and then buy. If it makes a flag here in the 60, that would be a sell. I'll take the sell. And if you get a flag here, this would be a sell setup. Because you'd either come back here and then go, or you'll drop through the bottom. A bigger running flat in play. Okay, I'll go through with everything. For YouTubers, when we do it in our daily webinar, we do everything in one. We don't do it as 2 separate webinars. It's a little long, but you can watch the pieces you like only, right? So stay away from this. I'm going to go really fast. Natural gas, if you get a sell setup, you should take it. It's absolutely should be a sell. It could make a sell setup here today, a bigger correction, and then you can sell that if it goes. US oil, it was going up. Let's see, did it get to the top? No, didn't get to the top. It's pulling back, not a problem. You still want it to go to this stop because this would be a contracting flat and that would be a problem. So if you get a sell setup here, you'd have to be careful. They might just do this and go back there, right? If it comes back to the top, make a flat there, we're looking for breaking of this top. The sell might be a little too early in a contracting flat. It is a sell setup, but that is going to be a little risky. You can take it, but remember there's a big risk in it, right? If you're taking this one, we don't know how low it will go. Might be worth taking, or you watch this come back to the top here, come here and then break the top there. That's a possibility. This one had a flat here. You had this pullback, but it turned out to be a contracting flat because they did go from that point. I don't know whether this is going to repeat the same thing. So let's see. The buy is probably not valid anymore. Take off the buy. Let's wait and see. UK oil will be the same. This buy was over. This buy is not valid anymore. Take it off. We're still expecting this to come and break this top as well, right? Because we didn't break the lows. So let's see if it goes up still. We'll look for another buy setup. PayPal. Okay, if you were in this sell now, you want to be careful because I think there's a chance you're looking at a possible running flat making coming here and then you get a sell again, right? So if it starts to consolidate, if you get a buy setup here, it would be worth taking it to break the top. Tesla, go for the sell. It's still a sell. Amazon, still a sell. Although it's going up, it's still a sell. We can't buy into this structure as yet. And you're starting. Well, this is still in the structure. It's doing what we wanted. We did this in the trading room yesterday, and it's doing exactly what you wanted, which is this move here, going back to break the top because we looked at 1, 2, 3. The flag was small, then it came to the bottom, and we said, okay, we had an entry for a buy. We said to take it off because at the bottom here doesn't make sense. Let it go up. Any sell setup you get here was worth taking because we're looking at a 1, 2, 3. You want a good sell setup, so let's see if we have one. Not really. You don't really have a good sell setup because this didn't break the low. See? This didn't break the low. It has to come here, go back up there, and then drop, making this the flat, making this the up move, this the up move, and then you get a good sell setup. If you get that, you can take the chance. If it drops lower, which means impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, and then you get a deeper flag here, then that would make sense. This is in the 15, so in the 1 hour, you're not really seeing all of that, but we're looking for a sell setup. Can you bring this entry order up to this level? Absolutely. But that's not where you want to enter. You want to enter from the top here coming down. S&P 500, this actually went back, but it's a little high, right? So take this off. If you get a sell setup here, you can take it just to see whether you're still consolidating in this range here or if it's going to drop. So a sell setup is not a bad idea. And I think you're getting one there. You can go for the sell. Natural gas. Sorry, NASDAQ. They say natural gas, NASDAQ. Sorry, my fault. Yep, this is also consolidating, and the question is whether this is going to drop now. Well, this one is a little difficult because we're not sure that this here is the running flat. We can't be sure about that. It's not a perfect running flat. So I think we wait on this, let it break down, and then you can try to find a flag under the low for the sell, right? And let's go. Next. Look for the sell setup. You got a perfect flat here now. Look for the sell setup. Nifty. If you're in this sell, you just have to stay with it, or move your stop because it's coming to this level. It's not going to come in a straight line, right? I think we're going to get a deep correction here now, which means you may want to move stop, take profit. There's a chance you're looking for that correction here now. Then drop, then drop. So it's going to be with a series of correction coming down, and once you get to that level, you're looking for the upside. Bitcoin. Okay, it's going up slowly. The question is whether that is the start of the upside. Let's assume that this here is the bottom. I don't think so, because we're looking for this to be a running flat. This piece, because of this correction here, that this could still drop, come back here, and then go. So what you can do is, if you make a big flat here, and you really want a big one, which means if you bought this yesterday, you had an entry there, you close the trade, you can put an entry here, and if they repeat that thing, tag you and decide to come, close the trade. But if they actually make a spike up, then we will have to go with this as a correction. This is just a 1, 2, 3 to finish the move, right? So at some plays, I think I'm more inclined to believe they'll make one more low down, but put an entry, because the next move should be to the upside after that, right? After this one, the next move should be this move to the upside. And that's the next move. So if it is starting from this point to go, you don't want to miss it. ETH, same thing, right? I think this has to come down. This one is way too short than that. So I'm more inclined that this would finish that move and then go back up, right? We're going to drop first and then go back up. This is almost a perfect running flat. So let's see if we get it that way. Ripple doesn't have to come back down. It could, but it doesn't have to. So if you want to buy, go and buy in the Ripple. Let's see if this takes off. Okay, this one has gone up. It's a little higher than where we thought it would come, because that was looking like a perfect running flat from there. The question is it the running flat, or are we trying to go up? Right? I still think it's more of a running flat. So I'll be careful. If you're buying this, you really want to make sure that you get a very big consolidation here. Something that is confirming up, something like this. Then you go for the buy. Same here. They all have the similar structure, but this one looks like a flat. And this looks like a flat. So if you get a flat here, go for the buy. Because this could be the low. And the biggest structure is upside, right? All the biggest structures are telling us that they could go back up from there. And the same thing with everyone. This one should drop. This one should not go back up. This one is literally sell. So it doesn't matter what you do in there. There's chances it's coming here, right? It's coming to break the low. So dash. We'll probably drop one more. It's coming down back. So this will become a flat. This here will be a flat. It might drop one more and then go. So let's see. Wait for that. And blink. Okay, so if we're still in the consolidation with this, it could go back up. But if you're out of the consolidation, it could drop. Wait for it to break the low, and then look for buy setups. These are simple. Wait for it to break the low, look for buy setups. The same here, right? Wait for this to come and break this low, and then look for buy setups. Same here. Let this come break the low. This is a running flat. Let it come here, break the low, and then look for the buy setup. I think a lot of them have pretty much the same structure, right? This one has to come down more. You see these pull back, but they still drop. So that's just a pullback to come. I don't think we're taking off from there. And this one is already the bottom. This one could go up from this point. You could make an argument for a running flat here, right? Then this one could go up from here, but you'll have to wait for a flag, maybe something like this, confirming that it's going up, because right now on a 1 hour, that's a running flat. See, and the 1 hour, that is a running flat. And running flats means this is going to come one more down. So let's see. Same here. If you take this out, this looks like a running flat in the making, this piece. Comes back to the top there for running flat, a regular flat, sorry. And then one more down. I think you could look at this as an expanding flat here. And then the one more down, smaller one more down. So would this take off from here and this be the running flat? Well, I would have wanted to break that up and then make a flag here to confirm the upside. Otherwise, that you're setting yourself up for a trap. Okay, these last four, I think one trader asked me, why am I focused on those last four? We don't normally look at them. Those last fours are for long-term trades. Pretty much, they're all at the extreme low point. So you should have bought this already, right? Pretty simple. It break the low, you buy. And then this will go back up. We're expecting this to go back. If you're not in the buy, you can still get into the buy. We're expecting it to retest this stop, and then it will absolutely drop. Right? So you're only going for this trade. Let's go on that and let's see if we can bring it in this lower time frame. If it starts to consolidate a lot here, if it starts to consolidate here and you were in the buy, you'll probably close the trade. Right now it's going good. It's not really consolidating for a drop as yet. It's kind of consolidating, but that's still upside. Yeah, this one is not ready for the buy as yet. It has to drop. So I would let this drop break this low, and then we'd look for the buy. Let's see this. Also not ready for the buy. It has to come and break this low. Then we'll go for the buy. Even if it goes up back, it's not ready for a buy as yet. And this one. Yeah, this one has to come down. Big picture, and this one I haven't showed much of the big picture here. This is the big structure. As you can see, this could be the low. This here could be the low from which this goes back up, but this piece is telling us it's making a flag here. And if it makes a flag here, it's going to probably make a new low, and then you're going to get that trade out, right? That is this move up. Now, it might not be that simple, which means it could just go back up like this and come back here again, which means we'll still be in the sideways move. But it's going to go back to that level, then come back here and then go back up. See? So some technical traders they call that ranging. We call that making a pattern, because we can read the range. We can read the pattern that is forming in the range. And right now what I see is this is likely going to be a running flat. It probably come back here, make a running flat, and then drop again. So we might break that low very soon. And then we'll start to look for the biceps. Okay, guys, I know it's a long video. I hope you enjoy it. It will be on YouTube. If you like it, share it. Somebody will find something interesting in it, right? Thank you very much. Trade with care, and I would see you tomorrow again. This entire week will be out for you. Take care. Bye-bye.